Why not renounce your titles as Duke and Duchess?
And what difference would that make?
One of the criticisms that you've received is that, okay, fine, you want to move to California, you want to step back from the institutional role. Why be so public? Why reveal conversations you've had with your father or with your brother? You say you tried to do this privately.
And every single time I've tried to do it privately, there have been briefings and leakings and planting of stories against me and my wife. You know, the family motto is never complain, never explain, but it's just a motto. And it doesn't really hold.
There's a lot of complaining and a lot of explaining.
It's the royal scandal that could rip apart the monarchy for good. In a dramatic and deeply personal turn, King Charles has reportedly made a demand that blindsided even those closest to the throne. He wants DNA proof that Archie and Lilibet are truly his biological grandchildren. No tests, no titles, no confirmation, no place in the royal legacy. Sources close to the palace suggest this isn't just about drama. It's about damage control. Years of conflicting stories, unexpected departures, media battles and explosive memoirs have left Buckingham Palace exhausted and suspicious. And now, that suspicion has turned into action.
Harry needs to remember that he wrote a book, and he had a podcast, and he did an explosive interview with Oprah Winfrey, and I doubt he asked his family members at the time if this was okay. He did what he wanted to do, and it's like, I think regardless of how rich this family is, this is something we all need to remember when we're talking about our family. Listen, you have to have respect for them. And if you really do want to reconcile, you cannot go publicly and say whatever you want. And then when it suits you, go, can we just bygones be bygones? Because if I'm a member of the family, even if I want to forgive you, the trust is gone.
The tension between father and son has officially crossed a line. Prince Harry is reportedly furious. Meghan is said to be deeply insulted. And while the couple sees this as an attack on their children, insiders say the palace sees it as the only way forward. This moment, more than any before, marks a breaking point in the Crown's relationship with the Sussexes. The issue is no longer just about loyalty, it's about legitimacy. The shockwaves didn't stop at the palace gates. Prince Harry, already estranged and often at odds with royal tradition, is said to be spiralling into fury behind the scenes. His response? Another book may be on the way. An emotional retaliation wrapped in more revelations. Meanwhile, Meghan reportedly views the king's demand as not just personal, but deeply offensive, calling it a betrayal that crosses into territory no family should ever reach.
Harry is whipped. Do you know the expression whipped?
I'm familiar with the phrase.
I won't use the full expression. Meghan.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. And I wasn't right from the beginning.
Same
I think
to
poor
you.
Harry is being led around by his nose. It'll end, and it'll end bad. He has been so disrespectful to the country. And I think he's an embarrassment.
But to those advising the monarch, this isn't about revenge or rudeness. It's about setting a precedent. After years of public drama and broken trust, the institution is shifting into a mode of self-protection. For King Charles, this isn't just a family crisis. It's a constitutional one. By refusing to play along with royal customs while still demanding royal perks, Harry and Meghan have created a dilemma the monarchy can no longer ignore. Without transparency, without documentation, the Crown is choosing caution over sentiment. And in that decision lies the harshest consequence yet, a complete freeze on the Sussex children's royal future unless hard proof is delivered. To understand how things reached this point, you have to rewind to the way Harry and Meghan handled the births of their children. Unlike previous royal arrivals, Archie and Lilibet's entrances into the world were cloaked in privacy. No hospital steps, no press announcements from royal doctors, no traditional christenings. Every step that would typically reinforce royal legitimacy was skipped. And now, those choices are coming back to haunt them.
I can't see a world in which I would be bringing my wife and children back to the UK at this point. And the things that they're going to miss is, well, everything. You know, I love my country. I always have done, despite what some people in that country have done. So, you know, I miss the UK. I miss parts of the UK. Of course I do. And I think that it's really quite sad that I won't be able to show, you know, my children my homeland.
King Charles, now the guardian of the monarchy's long-term survival, is reportedly done taking chances. With the line of succession on the line, he wants to remove every shadow of doubt. It's not about spite, it's about protecting the institution's integrity in an era where perception can erode power. Insiders say the move to pause recognition of Archie and Lilibet wasn't a spontaneous decision. It's been quietly building for months, with senior officials urging the king to draw a line. Without clarity, confusion reigns. And for a monarchy trying to project stability, that risk is simply unacceptable. On paper, Archie and Lilibet hold royal titles. The moment Queen Elizabeth II passed, they became Prince and Princess under the 1917 letters patent. But in reality, those titles have meant nothing. No royal duties, no invitations to official ceremonies, no appearances on the balcony. While Prince William's children have taken centre stage at nearly every major royal event, Harry's kids remain completely absent. Even the most basic gestures, family portraits, holiday cards, acknowledgements on birthdays have been missing. It's not oversight. It's intentional. Palace aides have reportedly been instructed to treat the Sussex children as non-working royals pending further verification. And Meghan's absence from the King's coronation only fuels speculation. Though Harry will attend, she's staying in the date, Archie's birthday. Some believe that's the real reason. Others say it's about avoiding confrontation. Either way, the message from the palace is clear. Participation requires proof. Until the royal family has what it needs, the doors stay closed. Inside Buckingham Palace, Harry's reaction has reportedly been volcanic. The DNA request hit a nerve. He's said to have accused the royal household of degrading his children and weaponizing distrust against his family. For Harry, it's personal, but for the monarchy, it's protocol. Years of scandal, bombshell interviews and a best-selling memoir filled with accusations have left senior royals weary of Harry's outbursts and less willing to accommodate them. Behind the scenes, the contrast between the two royal brothers has never been starker. While William quietly upholds tradition and shields the monarchy, Harry continues to challenge it, often publicly. And now that the legitimacy of his children is under review, his ability to negotiate with the crown has collapsed. Meghan, too, is said to be livid. Sources close to her describe a level of frustration that's boiling over. She sees the demand as an attack on her credibility as a mother and a woman. But palace officials aren't budging. In their view, years of secrecy have created a crisis of confidence, and it's not about personalities anymore, it's about proof. The deeper issue, according to royal insiders, is that Harry and Meghan have repeatedly rejected the very traditions that secure their place in the royal structure, yet still expect all the privileges. And now, with a spotlight on Archie and Lilibet, those contradictions are glaring. Critics have pointed out that Meghan has never made the details of her children's births public. No official hospital confirmations. No transparency about who attended. Not even formal christening ceremonies under royal oversight. In contrast, Kate Middleton followed every traditional step with her children, earning public trust and institutional confidence. That difference matters more than ever, because when a family demands recognition without offering transparency, it creates instability at the heart of a 1,000-year-old monarchy. The palace's stance is that this isn't about skin colour or personal grievances. It's about establishing trust after years of it being eroded. And when the line of succession is in question, the institution has no choice but to act with caution. The demand for DNA isn't being framed as an insult. It's being treated as a constitutional safeguard. With tensions peaking, palace sources say King Charles is standing firm. To him, this isn't some emotional standoff, it's a matter of royal duty. After Harry publicly accused his family of racism, exposed private conversations on global television, and sold his version of royal life to the highest bidder, Charles no longer sees blind trust as an option. From the King's perspective, this isn't retaliation. It's the consequence of choices Harry made. And while Harry sees the DNA request as cruel, Charles views it as overdue. Years of one-sided narratives and media manipulation have made the palace reluctant to give any benefit of the doubt. Meanwhile, Meghan's reaction has only intensified the standoff. Reports suggest she sees this as the palace trying to erase her children's place in history. She's allegedly furious at the suggestion of proving something she believes should never be questioned. But with no official documentation offered and no effort to bridge the gap on protocol, her fury is unlikely to change anything. The monarchy has made its position clear. Without evidence, there is no exception, not even for a prince's children. What's becoming clear is that the fallout isn't just between Harry and Charles. It now involves the entire senior royal circle. Prince William is reportedly backing his father's decision without hesitation. After years of watching his brother treat royal duty as optional while demanding royal rewards, William has reached his limit. For him, it's not just about sibling rivalry anymore. It's about protecting the future of the crown. William knows the stakes. His own children, places in the line of succession, are rock solid. Their births were documented, celebrated, and integrated into every tradition. Any ambiguity about Archie and Lilibet would cast a shadow over the entire royal bloodline. That's not just family drama, it's a constitutional risk. According to palace sources, William has advised Charles to stick to the requirements. Emotions aside, titles and royal standing must be earned, not assumed. And with no evidence on the table, he believes the crown must draw a firm boundary, one that protects not just the monarchy's image, but its very foundation. Harry may believe he's being singled out, but inside the palace it's seen as drawing the line between duty and entitlement. As the divide widens, Harry's attempts at reconciliation have reportedly fallen flat. Multiple sources say he's written private letters to King Charles, pleading for unity, asking for his children to be embraced, and appealing to a father-son bond that once meant everything. But the response wasn't warm. In fact, there wasn't a personal reply at all. Instead, palace officials were instructed to handle the matter as a legal and constitutional issue. The message from Charles? This isn't about emotion anymore. It's about the monarchy's long-term stability. And unless Harry is willing to meet the Crown's standards for verification, no amount of emotional writing will undo what's already broken. The most glaring omission in those letters, according to insiders, was any offer of proof. No documentation. No records. Just words. And after everything that's happened, words are no longer enough. To make matters worse, Meghan remains excluded from key royal moments. She was left off the guest list for the balcony appearance. There was no official role for her during the coronation. And now, with royal aides under strict instructions to limit her access, the couple's separation from royal life feels all but final. Behind the polished gates of Buckingham Palace, the silence has become deafening. Not a single official statement has been issued about Archie or Lilibet's birthdays. No congratulatory messages, no public acknowledgement. It's not an oversight, it's a calculated freeze. Insiders say the palace has quietly enforced a communication lockdown around the Sussex children. Until proof is provided, they are to be treated as private citizens, not royals. This isn't some dramatic punishment. According to senior aides, it's standard procedure when the line of succession is involved. Royal legal advisors are even said to be drafting a clause that could formally link royal titles to verified bloodlines. If passed, it would mean Archie and Lilibet could lose their titles altogether unless documentation is submitted. And while Meghan frames the standoff as personal and discriminatory, royal experts point to one recurring issue: lack of transparency. Every detail, from the births to godparents to public appearances, has been handled outside royal protocol. For an institution built on tradition, that's not a small issue. It's an existential threat. Outside the palace, Meghan's media campaign hasn't helped their case. Her return to the spotlight, with a new lifestyle brand, constant paparazzi appearances, and whispers of a solo memoir, was meant to restore her image. Instead, it's backfired. Critics from both the left and right have called out the hypocrisy of rejecting royal life while still profiting off the royal name. Comedians, talk show hosts, and political commentators have all piled on, highlighting how Meghan wants royal status without the responsibilities that come with it. Even some of her former supporters now question whether this ongoing saga is really about racism or simply about control. The more she pushes through the media, the more resolute the palace becomes behind closed doors. And then there's the ghost of that Oprah interview. As old clips resurface, royal insiders say King Charles remains deeply wounded by the implication that his institution is inherently racist. With Harry refusing to provide basic paternity documentation, some now believe that the real issue isn't bigotry, it's credibility. The damage that interview caused still lingers, but instead of apologizing or providing clarity, Harry and Meghan have doubled down, and the monarchy has decided enough is enough. This is where things stand. A family once divided by distance is now split by doubt. The crown has drawn its line. No more titles without proof. No more recognition without accountability. For Harry and Meghan, the message couldn't be clearer. Either provide the evidence or accept life outside the royal circle for good. King Charles isn't acting out of spite. He's acting as a monarch who knows what's at stake. This isn't just a family feud. It's about the stability of an institution, the legitimacy of its heirs, and the trust of the public. And in that context, sentiment doesn't matter. Tradition does. Prince William has solidified his position as heir by embracing duty. Harry, meanwhile, has become a symbol of what happens when personal ambition collides with royal expectation. And unless he and Meghan change course, offering transparency, not emotion, they may find themselves permanently cut off. No more letters. No more olive branches. The palace is done waiting. The monarchy has moved on. Now the Sussexes must decide. Are they willing to meet the Crown standard or live in exile on their own terms? Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more updates like this.